Hi, I'm Fabian. So today I'm going to show you some little tips and tricks that I've learned over the years that help me start new songs when I'm lacking inspiration. Now I know this doesn't just happen to me, it happens to every producer on the planet. But when this does happen, it can really zap you of your motivation and your desire to continue to make music. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways that I personally use to start new songs. Now for me, it's about getting to that place where you feel inspired and the creative juices are naturally flowing. So if you follow these tips, I guarantee that you'll have a much easier time getting your creative juices flowing. Now out of these 5 tips, I've saved my personal favorite till last, so be sure to watch till the end so you get the most out of this video. Tip number 1, start with a melody. First, find a synth or instrument that inspires you. Maybe try searching through Serum's presets or contact libraries or even Ableton's inbuilt instruments. Then pick any scale and start laying down a melody until you find something that's catchy. Keep it simple and don't rush this part because it will determine the catchiness of your entire song. Then turn that melody into some chords by playing with the same notes you used in your melody and other scale notes. Using the 1st, 3rd and 5th scale degree notes are always a great place to start. Then add some bass using the lowest notes in your chords. And finally add some drums that fit the vibe of the song. Tip number 2, start with drums and then add bass. This technique is great for starting a song with a drop and then using that as inspiration to break it down into a full song. I like to start with a kick and a snare and find a groovy pattern. Then add some percussive elements into it to help with that groove. Once it's catchy, you can add a bass. It's important to make the bass work perfectly with the kick. I like to play the bass whenever the kick happens and add some sidechain to make it feel punchier. I suggest you check out my in-depth tutorial on sidechain compression. Then simply start messing around with the melody and chords. Tip number 3, start with chords. Come up with a chord progression on the piano roll with a simple piano preset. Then add some interest by stacking the 7th, 9th and 11th notes and maybe some chord inversions. Check out my video on how I go about making my chords. Then duplicate that track, pick some random presets and try layering different sounds till you find something that fits nice. You will soon learn what works well and what doesn't. Then add some bass using the lowest notes of your chord progression. Then add some effects such as sweeps and fills to help build the song and maintain interest.
Maybe I'll show you what's new. Pull you aside, not come for you.
You can even use the same chords to come up with a drop and just repeat the process with different sounding layers. Tip 4, experiment with sound design. Mess around with an instrument or a preset till you find something you like. I like adding some huge effect chains with random effects and just seeing what crazy sounds I can come up with. If you come up with something cool, save it so you can access it easy later on. You can check out my video showing you the best ways to save your instruments. Come up with some simple chords like the previous tip and start layering that instrument with other samples till you feel more inspired. I find one-shot vocal samples work great for this. Finally, you can add some main vocals, a bass using the lowest notes in your chords, and then some drums.
There is something magical about you.
Tip number 5, find an awesome vocal. This tip is by far my favourite way of starting songs. Working around vocals seems to inspire me really fast and makes the song sound really good with little work. First, find a nice vocal that has a verse and a build. Finding one with a chorus is a bonus.
Tell me there's another way. Tell me you don't have to go.
A good place to look is on remixpacks.ru. There are heaps of stems that you can download and use their vocals for non-commercial uses, obviously. Alternatively, you can check out looperman.com where you can find some royalty-free vocals. Start by searching for some presets and adding a simple bass line. Then turn that bass into some emotional chords using the methods mentioned earlier. Add some effects such as rises, sweeps, foley, and drum fills to really help fill out the song and add extra emotion. Go ahead and finish the verse and the build and then listen to it from the start, trying to feel the inspiration for the drop. A few listens through and you'll probably have a drop idea.
We should love, we should love, we should love. Now you say we're good after all. We should love, we should love, we should love. Please think of me.
Sometimes I'll even find inspiration for another song while working on the current song. If this happens, I'll save the idea as a new project in my ideas folder and come back to it when I'm ready. So there you have it. 5 tips to help you start making more songs. Now, I think the most important thing here is to experiment and don't be afraid to fail. If an idea isn't getting your attention, just delete it and move on to the next one. Every time you start a new song, you learn a little bit more, making it easier to start the next song. Or when you eventually do finish a song, use that momentum and energy to start the next song. The more songs you finish, the faster you will grow as a producer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Or if you want a whole bunch of free stuff, you can visit my website at offthebeat.com.